Hey everybody, I am here with PitchingNinja Closer of the Year, the man, the legend, Edwin Diaz. What is up?
What's up? What's up? Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. So is it a bigger deal winning PitchingNinja Closer of the Year or being named to an all-star team? It's PitchingNinja Closer.
I like both. I think both. Yeah, PitchingNinja is great. Everybody's after every outing, I go to Twitter to see if PitchingNinja posts me every night. So PitchingNinja is big for pitchers.
I I almost got tired of posting you. You were on there. You might have been on there more than any single pitcher because that was the year you had. It was so ridiculously dominant.
Yeah, it was a great year. I was throwing strikes. I was commanding my slider the way I want to. I was throwing my fastball in the first spot. So was really really a good year for me.
So we had talked a little bit at the All-Star game about like the changes that enabled you to be as dominant as you can be. And part of what I was focusing on is the mental game because you attacked hitters. Like I could see it. You've always been one of the guys that I love watching pitch because you look like you're having a good time. You smile, you're enjoying yourself. But I thought you even kicked it up a level with the ability to reset and your intensity on the mound. Did you feel that?
Yeah, I feel it. I try to have fun, but at the same time, that's my job. So I know if I give a homer, that's part of the game. I know if I walk somebody, that's part of the game, but I don't want that. So when those things happens, I smile because I know that can happen at some point. But at the same time, I don't want to. But every time when I'm pitching, I'm thinking I'm the best in the mound. I'm thinking nobody is better than me, and nobody will be better than me at that moment.
I mean, I think last year that was 100% true. And I think your stuff in general has always played that way. Did you have to convince yourself that you were that guy? Or was it something is it something that you were born with? Like you're a confident guy?
Yeah, I'm a confident guy. I started building that confidence more and more after my COVID season. I had a great season in New York. It was with no fans, but was a good season for me. And the next year I came back and I do my job, and it was I can say it was a good season for me, and I carry that to this season. So since I started spin training, my goal was help this team to win. I gotta build myself, we build my confidence, and I have to be in the top of my game every single night. That's what I built in spin training. And when the season started, I was in that top, and since day one, I was doing my things.
Was there anything that kind of clicked in your head though to say like, you know what, I have to be able to reset, to flush things, to get out there and be as confident. Like I know that a hitter is at a disadvantage when I have a baseball in my hand. Was that something that you had to convince yourself of at any point?
Yeah, after the 2019 season was one of my worst season. My worst season. Reset everything. I talked to a lot of people and they told me, hey, you have the ball is in your hand. They gotta wait for you. You control the game. So if you don't pitch, they don't hit. So let them come to you. Don't go to them. So what? That's why I stay calm in the mound. I know I got the baseball, and they gotta wait for me to make my pitches. That's why I take my time sometimes, and I'm thinking what I should throw. And I think that's why I'm be able to do my job really really good because I know I got the baseball in my hand, and I know they gotta wait for me. And when they wait for me, they get excited because which pitch he will throw, and they got confused at that point, and I made my pitches.
Well, your command was also really, really good this year. Like I thought that it seemed like you hit your spots a lot like Jacob deGrom does as well. You have the glove side fastball, the glove side slider, and you could like deGrom can do that all day. Is that something you took it all from him, like seeing the success he had off those pitches?
Yeah, I like to watch his bullpen, so I try to go almost every time when he throw bullpen to watch his bullpens because it's amazing. Like he hit that fastball away so easy. So and we are almost the same pitcher because he throw 100, I throw 100, he threw a slider 92, 93, I threw the slider on the same below. So as I said to myself, if I can throw that fastball away like him at 98, 99, 100, and I can throw my slider at that same point, like in the lower lower part of the zone, I can be dominant like him. So every time when I start watching him throwing bullpen, I was trying to work like him, like throw fastball away, slider away, fastball in the middle, try to throw the slider in the same path but low. And I think that's one of the things I helped me because it's really nasty. When he finishes bullpen, the catches laid down like completely, and he put the glove laid down and he hit the glove like it's amazing when he throw bullpen.
Yeah, he's obviously so much fun to watch, and I thought there were a lot of similarities in the way that you both approached hitters. It seems to me like you've done a really good job of tunneling your slider off your fastball too. And you'd mentioned, like when you were just saying that, is that something that you actually think about? Like, hey, I threw a low fastball, I'm going to throw a slider in that same tunnel, and that slider is going to disappear down into the dirt.
Yeah, well, every time when I want to throw a slider, I want to throw a slider down in the zone. You know, if I want to throw it for strike, I try to throw a little bit higher. But every time when I will throw my slider down, gotta be down in the zone. So I made sure I will make that pitch down in the zone because that's a pitch. If you miss, the hitter can hit it pretty good, the slider. So every time when I want to throw a slider, one of the ball catcher call me slider, I make sure I will throw that pitch down the zone. I don't care if I hit the dirt, like 10 feet up front of the dirt, up front of the home plate. That's a good pitch for me because I don't want to miss in the middle.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you learn stuff like obviously I think Jake's added his mound presence is a little different from yours in that he doesn't show anything. He seems very calm and almost like he's a robot. And you have this like if you watching you pitch, it's like this natural enthusiasm. Even when you had that throw that went backwards, you laughed. Like you were like, all right, that's funny. It just that happens. But you look like you have a lot of fun on the mound. Do you see that difference between you and him maybe a little bit?
Yeah, it's like it's calm, it's serious. I like to smile if I make a nasty pitch and they swing and I can see their faces and I like to show my emotion. That's how I play. That's why every time when I save again, I react like that because that's my emotion. I express that because I know I'm in the last part of the game, last inning, and I gotta do my job. So my reaction after the win is whatever show up because I think that's the toughest 3 out in the game. The last 3 out that's are the toughest. So every time when I'm trying to make my pitches, trying to get the inning done, I think when I'm coming to pitch, I gotta go pitch by pitch. I don't think I gotta get the 3 outs. I go pitch by pitch at the same time. When I get the last out, I let my emotions show up because it's stress sometimes. It's stressful sometimes that night inning, and that's why I let my emotion go up.
Is that something that you've always done is taking it pitch by pitch? Because I find that a lot of pitchers, some guys, I know your other teammate, Max Scherzer, he pitches through emotion that he wants to it's a competition. I want to destroy the hitter. And he seems to do a very good job of pitching angry even. But other pitchers have to pitch one pitch at a time and say, you know what, all I can control is this one pitch. And I have to throw it where I want to throw it, and then it take care of itself. And that seems to be more of your mentality.
Yeah. I like to go pitch by pitch. I know I throw 100, 101, and I know if I miss in the middle, sometimes they will be late, and I can get a weak ground out, a weak fly out. But I'm trying to be perfect every time. I'm trying to be perfect. I will not be perfect every time, but I'm trying because I'm coming winning by 1 run, winning by 2 runs, and I don't want to make a mistake to let the other team take advantage of that. So every time when I'm pitching, I'm trying to be perfect. Like 95% of the time, I'm trying to throw the pitch in the spot the catcher wanted because I want to hit my spot.
Yeah, and it definitely seemed that way this year. Like you did not make a lot of mistakes. And what did you learn? So we brought up deGrom again and Scherzer. What did you learn from playing with Max? Because I had this theory that he was going to lift up the Mets pitchers in general because he's a competitor. He holds himself to a very high standard. Did you find yourself watching him and learning from some of the stuff he did as well?
Yeah, I think the thing I learned from him it's competitive. Like he go after hitter every single time. He don't show up like weakness. He don't show up anything. he just show up. I can beat everyone. I can be even when he got his bad starts. He show up he can do his best. So that's one of the thing I learned from him, and I like to show that too, because even if I smile and I'm smiling and having a good time, I'm a man. I'm a warrior over there. I don't want to lose again. So he's a warrior too, and that's one of the things I like from him.
How much do the fans impact what you do? Because I will tell you, there is not a pitcher that has had more fans behind them than you had this year, both through your, just the entrance song, the way you pitch. I think you had a whole stadium and a whole city rooting for you. And it's not always that way. Obviously New York fans are tough.
Yeah, they're
And
tough.
they're tough. But when you're going well, they're about as good as you can have. And sometimes they'll boo players, obviously, but
yeah, I think that's part of the game. I take it like that part of the game. I'm okay with that.
Do you feed off the emotion from the fans?
Yeah, I can feel the emotion. When I throw my last pitch in the bullpen, I know I'm going to do my work. So I don't try to listen to everything, even my music, because I'm running thinking I should do this, I should do that. But I can feel the vibe from the fans when I'm running to the mound, because they love my entrance song, and they get hype in that. Everybody love that, and I like that. But at the same time, I gotta concentrate to do my job. So I try to separate that when I'm running and just think I will do my job, and then I celebrate with them if they want to.
Did the whole entrance song thing kind of take off even bigger than what you thought? I mean, obvious it's a great song, but it worked perfectly with you too, and the fans getting into it, and it just became a thing. You didn't think about that when you first did it, right? Like this was something that just the fans got into.
No, I think the fans love it last year, but this year combined with my season and the song, and everybody get used to it, and everybody start liking it. Everybody was in my social media. I can see every day something about my song because they love that, and I like that song. I like that song. I used that song in Seattle when I was in Seattle, but this didn't show up until New York, so that's a thing right now. If I was talking with my family, hey, if I go to another team, free agency, I gotta carry that song with me, because that's part of my life now. And if I go to another team, I gotta use that song. And every time when I move to other places, I gotta use that song. So I will take that song with me every time until my career is over.
Did you feel a little extra incentive when Contreras used the song too? And is like I mean, obviously he didn't do it because you were on the mound. He always used it, but did you like, all right, I'm the real owner of this. I'm going to strike you out? Because you did. That was wicked.
I want to laugh. I was trying to don't laugh, but I want to laugh inside because that was funny. I think Osuna should be here that moment, and they bring him as a pinch hitter, and they play the song. I said, no way. And I want to start laughing, but we was losing the game. So I said, okay, I will strike out this guy on 3 pitches. And I made my pitch and I strike him out. And people love that too.
Oh, absolutely. I thought that was fantastic. And I'm in Atlanta. So I mean, I root for pitchers anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter where I am. I'm rooting for you to strike out whoever it is.
Yeah.
So let me touch back with, well, number one, I was gonna say, what do you think your best performance was this year? Because I have one in mind, and maybe I'll share mine that I jumped out of my chair when you were throwing. And I think it was that Sunday night game against the Angels where you had a 5-out save and you K'd everybody.
I like that one, but I think I got one in Miami. I almost threw a immaculate inning.
Yeah.
So I got Joey Wendell with 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 strikeouts, and he fouled the last pitch, like a nasty slider. He told I think Nido was the one who was catching me, Tomas Nido, and he told him I don't know how I hit that ball foul, because
I remember that.
That was a perfect pitch. And I start laughing because I know I got two out, 2 strike on 8 pitches. So I need one more strike to get the immaculate inning. And I start laughing after the foul ball. And then I came back to them and I said, okay, let me complete my job. And then I strike him out in the next pitch.
So you knew in your head though that was going to be an immaculate inning if you struck him out on that.
Yeah, because I I follow my inning. I'm know what I'm up. Like if I'm 1-1, 2-1, 1-2, 3-2 count. I know what I'm doing every time. I know what I'm doing every time. Even the day we threw a no hitter, I know we got a no hitter when I was coming to the game, because I like to watch the game. And even I started watching the game like seriously in the sixth. I sit down and I watch every AB, because I don't like the scouting report, because everybody don't throw the same way like I throw. So I don't like to follow the scouting report much. Maybe the swinging percentage, first pitch, those little things. And I like to follow the catcher. So I knew we were no hitter in the ninth. So I was more nervous to give up a base hit than anything, because I knew sign the 6-7 inning we got a no hitter and we was winning by 1 or 2 runs. I knew I was coming to pitch, so I was a little bit anxious, but at the same time I was trying to be really perfect.
That's a good segue, because I think fans always look at combined no hitters two different ways. Some say, "Oh, that doesn't count. It should be one pitcher." To me, it's a sign of, I think a combined no hitter, I call it a co-no, is a big deal, because it means the whole pitching staff did its job and you can celebrate as a team. What did you guys, I mean, do you guys take that attitude towards it?
Yeah, we take a no hitter. Like, I think it's tough to throw a combined no hitter than a regular no hitter, because the catcher, when you throw a regular no hitter and say one pitcher, the catcher and the pitcher are in the same path every single time in the game. When someone comes from the bullpen, sometimes the pitcher doesn't like what the catcher is calling, and they shake and they fight a little bit there. But as a combined no hitter, like Drew Smith came to the game and the catcher got a reset with him, what he should throw, what pitch he should make. Then Joely Rodriguez came and the same thing, and then Seth Lugo came, and then I came. So it's tougher, because he called like 5-6 pitches in that night, and he called almost every perfect pitch.
And there's a part of it too, and as you were talking, I was thinking about it, where it's tougher on you, because you don't want to let the rest of your team down. Like if it's my no hitter and I'm the only pitcher, I'm letting myself down mostly if I don't get it. If you don't get it, you've just let all the pitchers be in front of you down, and the pressure on you's got to be a ton.
Yeah, the pressure was a ton on me. I don't show up that, but I got pressure, because as I can be the last guy who give up the hit. So even if I give up a hit and we win, I say I will apologize to the guy in the club after the game, because not every day you throw a combined no hitter, or not every day you throw a no hitter, And I was trying to be perfect. Like I was trying to throw my slider like really perfect, because I was facing Bryce Harper, I think Nick Castellano and Real Muto, one of the best 3 hitters in the league. So it was a tough match for me.
How hard is it to pitch to Harper? Obviously, one of the best hitters in baseball. Is he one of those guys that gives you? I mean, do you feel like you have to up your game a little bit to get him, maybe change things up, or what's your approach in a guy like that?
My approach, I think I got the same approach to every hitter. I can be Bryce Harper, I can be, let's say, another hitter like don't have much power. The guy from Cleveland won.
Mm-hmm.
Like he don't got much power, but like he takes walks. So I like to take my approach with the same with every hitter. I don't care who's hitting. I will make my pitches. If I gotta throw a slider down in the zone, I will throw a slider. Nobody was who's hitting, and if I gotta throw my fastball up, I will throw my fastball up. I don't care who's in the box. I just compete with myself.
So you're not a big heat maps guy. You're more of, I'm going to throw what I throw because I think my stuff is better than what the hitter has, regardless.
Yeah. I like the heat maps sometimes, but I like to follow the catcher more, because I think the catcher caught the complete 8 innings, and when I came to the game, he got more knowledge than me, what I should throw, what pitch I should make, because he been there 8 innings. So if I shake one pitch, it's because I want to throw that pitch. If not, I don't shake much. I don't shake much. If I shake in the season 10 times, it's too much.
Do you ever laugh at my man Chris Bassett for he probably shakes more times than one hitter then you shook the whole season.
Yeah, he shake a lot. He shake a lot. He shake a lot. Him and Seth Lugo too. Seth Lugo is one of the guys who he like to throw his pitches. Like he call his own game. Like he call his own game, and the catcher know that. So those guys knows, and they let him throw his pitches. But Seth Lugo is one of the guys like Chris Bassey. They throw his own games every time.
Yeah, Lugo's another guy that when you watch him, he does something that nobody else does, which is his ability to spin the baseball is absolutely crazy. Like his curveball spin rates are nuts. Do you ever take anything like wonder how he does that? Or have you ever caught with him, played catch with him?
No, I don't like to play catch with the other pitcher. I like to play catch with the bullpen catcher because I'm a guy who throw maybe 20 throws, 25 throws every day. I don't like to throw much. And I just throw 25 fastball. I play catch onto 120, and when I feel good, I'm done. So the other guys, they like to throw slider. They like to throw 5-10 minutes. I'm not like that. I like to play catch when I feel good. I'm done because I gotta save my bullet for the night.
That makes sense. So you're not a big long toss guy. Were you a long toss guy kind of growing up though to make your arm strong, or were you never really?
I'm a long toss guy in the off season. I
Okay.
play long toss every single day. I build myself. I take like 2 weeks off without throwing after the season, and then I start building myself again. And when I'm 150 up, I play 150 up every single time, every single day, even my bullpen days. And when I get to spin training, I slow it down a little bit and stop on 120. And every day I go 120. I do the same routine every single day because I gotta save my bullet for the game.
So you're a lot like I know Max doesn't take a lot of time off either because he felt like when he took time, he tried to take time off and rest his arm, and he felt like at the beginning of the season he was just it didn't work for him. He was too tired, it hurt too much. His command wasn't as much. He throws a lot in the off season, so you're an off season thrower as well.
Yeah, I'm a season thrower because when I was in the minor, I was a starter. So I built the same work I was doing as a starter in the minor. So I started in the minor playing catch in November because in December I like to throw my first bullpen. So when I go to a spin training, I got like at least 10 bullpen in my book already. So when I get to spin training, every time the pitching coach told me, "Hey, you're ready to pitch right now," because I don't like to get to a spin training to get ready. I like to be ready in spin training. So my spin training game, I take it like a regular season games. I'm coming to pitch. I'm coming to attack the hitter. If I want to work in something, I talk to the team and I go to the backyard and pitch there. If I want to work with my slider command, I want to work my fastball command. But when I'm pitching the spin training games, I'm going to compete. I don't go into working anything.
Do you ever miss being a starter, or is a closer more consistent with your personality that you like the adrenaline of pitching one inning and throwing it by hitters and all that?
Yeah, I like reliever more. I like closing games more because as a starter, I gotta wait 5 days. And I was a two-pitch guy in the minors. I was fastball sliding. My changer wasn't that good. So that was, I think, the manager do the right thing with me when they made me a reliever because the story about when they made me reliever was like May 10, May 11, they talked to me about being reliever. And June 4 in that year, I went to the big league right away. So it was like almost 3 weeks. I was relieving in the minor and they brought me up really quick.
Well, let's go back to some of that because when like growing up, when did you know, like, did you always want to be a baseball player? Was that something that you dreamt about when you were a little kid? And how did you practice when you were growing up? What made you you?
Yeah, as a little kid in Puerto Rico, if you don't play baseball, you play basketball or boxing. So I was playing basketball and baseball, but I was a better baseball player than basketball player. So like when I turned 13, 14, I decided to play just baseball. And I was an outfielder. I didn't start pitching until 15, 16. I was an outfielder, but I wasn't hit really, really good. I got a good arm, and my father told me, "Hey, you should pitch because I think you got a good arm. And we should try to pitch. If maybe you can be a professional player." I said, "Okay, that's fine." And I started building that like that thing as a pitcher. And when I was 16, 17, I was throwing like 90, 91, 92. So quickly, and then I jumped and I signed and then go to the minor with Seattle.
What was the biggest jump? So obviously throwing 90 to 91 is good, but it's not 100 to 100 and what you touched 103 this year, I think. I remember
Yeah,
100.
103 this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. What was the big jump? What was the big difference? Was it just getting stronger? Was it getting your mechanics down? How did you make that jump?
I think I got a strong arm ever, but as a starter, you gotta build yourself to go 6, 7 innings. So I was kind of the pitcher in the minor start, like 89 to 91 first inning, 91, 93 second inning, and then through the third to the sixth, like 94, 95, 96. So I was throwing up to 97 as a starter when I was a starter. But as a reliever, I know I'm coming to throw 1 inning only, and I can use everything I got in the tank. So every time when I come into pitch, I try to throw my 100% every pitch because I know I gotta do my job quick because 1 inning is not the same as a starter. You go 5, you got a bad inning the first. You can do better every single inning and then finish strong. So as a reliever, you gotta finish strong your inning.
Did anybody work with you on your mechanics, or was that mostly natural? Because you're a little unique in some of the stuff you do. You look like the way you use your lower half, and maybe you can describe it better than I can. But there's a little bit of it's almost like you're jumping at the hitter, but you're also using your leg to kind of get your hips open. What do you think about when you're mechanics?
So that's how I ever throw the same mechanics, but I'm getting better every year. Knowing my body, I got a pitching coach here. It was a pitching coach in the Phillies, in the Astro, I think, working the minor with them from Puerto Rico. I work with him. Hector Mercado is the name. He knows a lot about pitching. So he helped me to stay back in the rover and push with my legs. So I was doing that, but at the same time I was jumping too much. So he calmed me down a little bit, and I just trying to stay back and push my toe in the rover, and that's why my extension, like 3 years ago, my extension was like 6'6", and now jump to 7'1", 7'2", because I'm using all my body and I got a lot of power in my legs.
What is your main thought with your legs? I know you mentioned your back leg. Do you even think about your front leg at all? When you're throwing?
No, my front leg, I just try to stay in direction to home plate. I don't like to be cross up or anything. I like to go in the same path of my arm. So if I'm coming this way, I don't want to be this way or this way. So I'm trying to pitch like this every time, like in this path.
Gotcha. So you're a linear approach to home plate, but you're rotating, and you can see yourself, your lower half, especially starting. Do you feel like it's your lower half is the key to your throwing? And then what do you think about with your upper half?
Yeah, I think my lower half is the key because I think all the power is in my lower half, and keep and take out pressure at your hand when you're pitching your lower half. So I just try to use my lower half, and if I use my lower half, my upper part will work at the same time. So I try to be more easy in my shoulder on my front side and more aggressive down in my legs.
That makes sense. Do you ever help your brother with his mechanics, or is he?
Yeah, we work together. We work together in the off season with the same pitching coach. We work out together. We do everything together. We play cards together, and that's why the people say, "Hey, you guys pitch almost the same," but it's not the same. It's the pitching coach. Like we do the same routine every single day in the park. So if I do something with my mechanic, he do the same thing. If he do something, I do the same thing, and we help each other. I got a story. I was throwing a bullpen this year, and I wasn't throwing strike. Like I was completely off, and I was mad because that was my 6 a.m. bullpen. I should throw in strike. I should command my pitches the way I want to, and I like to bring my glove right here when I'm pitching. Like when I do my mechanic, I was bringing my gloves like really high. And my brother came to me and said, "Hey, I think you bringing your gloves so high, and that's why you off." So the next bullpen I came and I did what he told me, and I was like really nasty. The pitching coach told me, "Hey, it can be your pitching coach now," because we help each other and we know us. That's the same thing when he pitched. I watch his game sometimes because I'm in the clubhouse. Sometimes they play early than us, and I'm watching his game. If he do something wrong, I call him and say, "Hey, you did this wrong," and if I did something wrong, he called me, hey, you did something this wrong, and check the videos, and that's how we work together.
Is it more nerve-wracking being in a game yourself or watching your brother pitch?
I think watching my brother pitch, because when I'm pitching, I can control what I do, so I can control him, and I want him to do his best every time. I want him to perform good every time. So sometimes I get nervous because I'm thinking, hey, he should throw this pitch and he don't throw it, and maybe he get the out. I say, oh, I prefer throw maybe the slider down in the zone now than the fastball. This year it was pitching really good, but it was throwing like I think 85% fastball. And I thought to him, hey, you should throw more the slider because you will strike out more people, and everybody know you throw your fastball a lot. And if you start mixing your pitches, your stuff will be better, play better. And he started throwing the slider more, and he started striking out a lot of players too.
So obviously your brother plays. What about your son? Like, is that a goal that you have for as a dad? Do you want your sons to play baseball? Is that something you want to pass down?
Yeah, I would love to see my son play baseball, and he started playing baseball this year. He's 6 years old, and I was thinking I was like letting him come to me and saying, Dad, I want to play baseball. So he came to me and he was say, Dad, I want to play baseball. And now I get a team in Puerto Rico, and he's playing there because he want to play baseball. I don't want to bring him and then he get bored, and then I don't want to play anymore baseball. So now he know what I'm doing, and he watch me every single day, and he love baseball now, and he like to play baseball. So I'm really happy with him. I'm looking forward to see if he can take some of the advantage I give him, and he carry up and being one day in the big leagues like me.
Now that is more nerve-wracking than you pitching. Watching your own kid play. My son played all the way through at Georgia Tech, and it's way more like it's nerve-wracking for parents to watch their kids play because you know how good they can be, and you want them to kind of show off about how good they are, and you know how much it affects them when they don't play well. Do you ever feel that watching your son?
Yeah, I haven't started playing. They are in practice, but when he start playing, I might be nervous because I want him to perform good every night, every time. And I know that's part of the game. I told him, hey, sometimes you know you don't have a good game. That's part of the game. That's fine. But at the same time, I want him to be good every time. So I will see how it goes.
But you said you were a hitter. Do you think what would happen if you tried to hit off yourself?
No chance. I don't have. See, I got zero chance to face myself. We got the machine like do the pitching thing like. So I was trying to face myself, but that machine throwing slider 93 and 100 fastball, and I said no, that's fine. I just keep watching me in videos.
Does some of that help you though? Like knowing how standing in there against yourself on a machine, you sit there and go, I don't understand how anybody ever hits that. So you know when you're on the mound how hard it is to hit instead of giving the hitter too much credit.
Yeah, I sometimes I think that's one of the problems of the pitchers. They give some good credit to the hitter. They deserve the credit, but I think as a pitcher you gotta think you are better than them. So, in my team, every time when I talk to those hitters, they told me, hey, I don't know how those guys hit you because you are really, really nasty. And that pulled me because I know I'm good. And I know if one of the best hitters in our team, like Jeff McNeil, P. Alonso, Lindor, all those guys told me, hey, you're nasty. I know they can hit almost every pitcher in the league, and they told me that show up like I'm doing my job. So that helped me to keep doing what I'm doing.
I would imagine that hearing that from your own teammates, that's a big plus. I mean, you're here and you probably hear it from other hitters in the league too when you're hanging out going, man, you're nasty. I don't like facing you.
Yeah. I've been talking with guys. They told me that like, hey, you are nasty. I don't know how I can get a base against you, and I don't know how hit that ball, and that's a plus for me because I know maybe he got lucky, maybe he not got lucky because they had a bat. They can swing, they can hit. They are in the big league like me, and they gotta take the food at home, like I always say. And if they told me that, they know I'm good. So that's a plus for me, and I take it on my advantage.
What is the biggest feedback they give you? What do you think makes you so tough to hit? If you were judging yourself, is it your extension? Is it the attack angle of the ball that it goes above swings? Is it what is it? What do you think makes you so nasty?
I think one of the things is the extension, because I release the ball really on front, and I release the fastball and the slider in the same path. So they don't have any chance to recognize the pitch. So maybe they are looking for slider through the fastball, and they take it because they think that's go to the dirt. And I threw a slider in the same path, and they think it's a fastball, and they will swing, and the slider end in the dirt. So I think those two things help me a lot: the extension and the thing I threw my two pitch in the same path.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't think that, so a lot of fans when they're watching a game say, how did he not pick up the spin on that pitch? Why couldn't they just lay off the slider? And I know, talking to hitters, it's just not that easy to pick up spin, especially when you're talking about pitches like you throw in the 100-mile-an-hour and low 90-mile-an-hour slider. It's not like you can see it when it's going that fast and it's spinning that fast. Is that what people tell you, that it's very tough to pick up the spin?
Yeah, I think from every pitcher, yeah, you can throw 90 miles an hour fastball and 83-mile slider, and if you got the same path, usually the ball on the same path, it's tough to recognize. So imagine a guy throwing 100 with a low 90s slider, throwing the same path, the fastball away, slider away, and elevating the fastball and throwing the slider down. That's tough. So as a hitter, it's really tough. I think I was before, like when I was a young kid, I was saying, pitching is tougher than hitting, but I think hitting is tougher than pitching.
Yeah, one thing, and we touched on it a little bit. I always view the pitcher, we always say that they're the defense, but I think of pitchers on offense, because you have the baseball, nothing happens until you throw it. And if you go into the game with that mindset that I'm on offense, the hitter's got to react to me, I think it helps know how to attack a hitter. Like, hey, I'm not scared. I'm the one who the hitter has to be on defense against.
Yeah, the hitter gotta be on defense against us because we got the ball. And when they are facing a pitcher like the Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, Carlos Rondon, like Justin Verlander, all those guys, they are in defense. So as a pitcher, you gotta take advantage of that, because sometimes you can miss a pitch and right in the middle, and they are anxious, and they are thinking he will throw me the best pitch, and I will swing low in the zone, and you throw a fastball right in the middle and they miss. So as a pitcher, you take advantage of that.
Yeah, I would think that that's definitely true. I think a lot of pitchers tend, especially when they're coming up to the major leagues, give hitters a lot of credit because they're always watched them on TV and said, oh, I've got to be perfect. I've got to even be better than I was, instead of knowing that what you have is good enough to attack a hitter in the zone.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's one of the things help everyone.
When you're pitching, some pitchers talk about pitching to contact. Other pitchers want strikeouts. Clearly, your results are on the strikeout side. Do you view yourself like that success to you is striking out a hitter? You're not going for weak contact necessarily. You're going for a swing and miss on your pitches.
I maybe people think I'm crazy, but I'm going to pitch to contact first, early in the zone, early in the count. I like to pitch to contact because if I can get a weak ground out with one pitch, or a weak fly out with 1-2 pitch, but every time when the hitter is to strike, I'm going to strike out. But early in the count, I like to pitch to contact. If they get in the hole with 2 strikes, I'm going 100% for the strikeout.
It's funny that you say that because you get so many whiffs on both of your pitches, both your fastball and your slider. I mean, your slider whiff percentage is something like 57%, which is crazy. And you struck out basically half the hitters you face. But you're telling me that early on in a count, you just want the hitter to get himself out and swing at a pitch, and it helps you because then you have more bullets for the rest of the inning.
Yeah, and I got more bullets, and they come thinking, hey, we throw me his best pitch every time. I will throw my best pitch, but sometimes I wanna make a pitch like right in the zone, like in the strike zone to get a weak contact, because I got advice from Robinson Cano. He told me, hey, you know how to throw a strike. Like you have to throw close to the zone, and the hitter will swing because they don't want to strike. They don't want to get strikeout with you against you. They will swing everything. So every time I'm trying to throw a strike like in the zone, in the box, and then I'm trying to make good pitches, not trying to be perfect, but good pitches close, like look like a strike.
So get ahead early. If they put it in play, they put it in play. And as a matter of fact, you want them to put it in play because you feel like it's going to be weak, and then expand off that to when they have two strikes, you're really expanding to.
Yeah, and with two strikes, really expanding. Sometimes I'm missing the zone and they still strike them out because they are looking for the perfect pitch. And sometimes I miss with a weak pitch and they miss in the zone.
What pitchers did you idolize growing up? Is there anybody that you wanted to be? And is there anybody in today's game that you watch other than your teammates that you're sitting there going, I kind of like the way this guy throws. I like his attitude. I like his stuff, or he looks nasty, or your teammates say is nasty?
You know, I like when I was growing up, I like Pedro Martinez and Mariano Rivera. Like Pedro Martinez was one of the best pitchers, and Mariano too. And I idolize those two pitchers because they were from Latin America like me, and they was one of the best two pitchers in the world. And when they was playing, and now as a like I can say as a fan, I say I think Dominguez from the Phillies nasty. I like him how he pitch. Iglesias from Atlanta is nasty. Can say my brother too. I like him a lot.
You have to say that, right? I mean,
yeah, he's doing great. He's doing great. And Ohtani is really nasty. I like from the Leal. A lot of guys, they are nasty. If I keep saying names,
you're gonna keep
all day here.
Yeah,
because there are a lot of good pitchers. Like Bautista, the guy from the Orioles, is disgusting. Like, he's really nasty.
He's got a good entrance song too, the Omar's Whistle.
Yeah, he got a good one. And Hesley from the Cardinals, my brother told me he got a really, really good one too. My brother liked him too.
Yeah, he's really good. Like
he's nasty.
So you mentioned Shohei on there, and I agree with you. I think a lot of fans don't understand how nasty he is, and that he is as good. To me, I think he's as filthy a pitcher as a starting pitcher as there is in baseball. Like his slider, his splitter, his fastball, triple digits. Is that something that do you ever think about that, or your teammates tell you that, or other people around the league tell you that?
When I was in Seattle, we faced him and the hitter was saying it's so tough to hit him because he throw 100. He got a nasty split. He got a nasty slider. He got a nasty curveball. He do everything. He can hit. I think it's in the top 2 players in the league right now. Like I can say he might be the best player in the league because he can do both really, really good. Like don't say he can hit. He hit and he pitch really good. So it's really tough to do that.
Yeah, I mean, because once he leaves the game, he still has to hit. Like he can't rest, and he doesn't even get days off in between. Yeah,
he can come in the night and he can win his own game. So that's really fun to watch.
The other thing I notice about him, which is something like you have to have as well, is when he gets runners on base, he really bears down, and you can see how hard he works when there's a runner on second or third to not let them score. And he really goes for the strikeout then. Do you think about that as well? Like in different situations, maybe you want contact, with no one on base, but if there's someone in scoring position, you're going for the strikeout. You're going to throw your best. You're going to get swings and misses.
Maybe with men on third base and one out, one out, but with men on second, I still trying to pitch to contact because maybe I can get something like they can move to him to third with 2 outs, and then I strike him out. I get the last out. So if they are less than 2 outs with men on second, I'm okay with that. But less than 2 outs with men on third, I'm trying to go for the strikeout every single time.
Have you mentioned Rivera and Pedro as 2 idols or 2 guys that you looked up to growing up? Have you met them, and what did they give you any advice?
Yeah, I met Mariano when I win the reliever of the year in 2018. I went to one of the game in the World Series in Dodgers against Boston. I met him because the trophy name Mariano Rivera, reliever of the year award. And one of the things he told me, hey, you gotta flush everything right away. Even if you pitch good or you pitch bad, you gotta flush that because the next day is a new day and you gotta do good. So and Pedro, my trainer, worked with him when he was in Boston, my personal trainer. So they talk a lot and he give me some advice about pitching. Like you gotta stay calm, you gotta stay back in the rover. And he gave me some tips after 2019 season that helped me a lot too.
Oh, he's big on hooking the rubber too, putting your cleats kind of half on and half off to give you that little angle on your back leg. I don't know that you do that, but I know that's one of his big things about
Yeah, I
using it
like
for.
to I like to pitch like right in the middle, maybe a little bit to the first base side, but I like to be in the middle of the rubber. And I'm not a big fan of the hole, so I like to pitch in the like in the dirt like straight. I don't like the hole, so I don't make any holes.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Did Rivera give you any cues to? I know it's people say flush it, but is there a how it's easier said than done sometimes? Like, is that something you had to work on to say, convince yourself that I have to forget about good and bad and just every day is a new day? How did you practice that?
I think the game, pitching the game, I know if I do bad, to the next day I gotta come back and I gotta do the same job again. So I learned that, like, even if I was pitching really good last year, I got flushed because the next day I can be in the same situation and have a bad game, or even have a really good game again. So every time when I was pitching, I was trying to flush it, even if I was pitching good, pitching bad, because the next day I would come the same situation and I gotta do good again.
Do you feel that do the fans ever, like the fans in general, do they ever get to you even in opposing parts? Is there anything that either it makes you get more up for the game or makes you dial it back, you have to block it out? Because it's tough, and I don't think everybody understands how tough it is being in your position. Both, home fans, the game is riding on you, but even on the road, they're trying to get in your head too. You're warming up, they're going, oh, you stink, you're whatever, probably more colorful words than I'm going to say.
I
How hard
think
is that?
it's tough, but I ignored that. But in the worst place to warm up, I think it's in Philadelphia because they are in the top of you and they are screaming. I don't care. I give that with my glove. I don't care what you're saying. I will do my job. But sometimes like they come after every single guy in the bullpen, and we are trying to concentrate in the game because we don't know when we are coming to the game. So and the feeling the fans they are talking, and sometimes my teammates get mad because we wanna see the game. But personal, when I'm warming up, they tell me, you suck, or you this, you do this, and I say with my glove, I don't care. And then when I close the game, I just looking in the street when we are riding the bus to the hotel to see if I can see one of those guys that was talking bad thing about me.
Yeah, that's the best part, right? Like after you close them out, you're like, hey, talk to the scoreboard. That's one of those things. Like you just
Yeah, look the scoreboard and look the number, and you will see who win the game.
exactly. Well, let's touch on some pitch grips. Your fastball. What are you trying to do with your fastball?
I just trying to stay I try to let my wrist in top of the ball, so I hold my fastball like this.
Uh-huh.
So I like to stay this strong and try to stay with my finger on top of the ball every time. Because if I came like this, my ball run like this, like run a little bit to the side to side. I don't want that. I'm looking to the right to get the right. Even if I try this way or this way, I don't care. I just looking to get the right. I don't want this, and I don't want this. The same with the slider. The slider, I grip it like this. So
Two seam. Yep.
yeah, like on top of the ball like this.
Yep.
So and I put pressure in this finger and in this finger, like heavy pressure. I almost like it's tough to take it out. In this finger, I just put in top of the ball, and I'm thinking throwing fastball. Like when I'm throwing slider, I'm throwing a slider grip, but in my mind, I'm throwing a fastball.
Do you ever, so on your fastball first, you're gripping it? It looks like your first knuckle is kind of over the seam. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, over
Yeah.
the seam. Yeah,
Yep. And
and
do you
this
feel
one
the,
are in the seam. So I just on this finger I try to put in. I don't like to put this finger right here because if I put it here, I feel the ball is run side to side. So I manipulate the ball a little bit, and I like to open my finger like this. I throw the fastball like this.
okay, so you have a little split in between your
Yeah.
fingers to,
So and I try to put my finger in the back of the ball because I got more control of my fastball like that.
do you feel the seams coming off your fingers? Is that something to try to get spin, or you're just throwing it?
I just throwing it. I think my spin rate is normal, like 22, 23, 25, at least 25 the most. And I don't think about for me personal, for me I don't think much in spin rate. I think more in location. Because if I have 27, 28 fastball spin rate, that's really good. Like my brother got one of the best spin rate in the league in fastball and slider. He throws slightly like 29, 28. His fastball 27, 28. And that's really good. But me, 23, 24, I think that's normal. So I just care more about pitching command than the spring of the ball.
Yeah, that makes sense because it depends on your own strengths. You can't copy what Lugo does, who has a very, very, very high, the highest spin rate in baseball on his curveball. You can't do that. You've got to deal with what makes you you, which is your ability to tunnel, your extension, your throwing hard, stuff like that.
Yeah, and maybe I don't have the best spin rate, but I do better other things like extension wise. I'm better than other players. Releasing the ball in the same path, I'm better than other players. And I commanding my pitches, I'm better than other players. And I compensate that with the spin rate.
Has your command always been that way? Like when you were younger, when you started pitching, did you always feel like command was important to you? Was that something that you were good at?
No, I was important for me, but my command was okay. I've been able to get better every single year. That's why I like to throw a lot of bullpen in the off season because I like to come to get to when I get to a spin training. I like to be ready to start the season. I don't like to get there and start working my fastball away, my fastball up. When I'm throwing bullpens in the spin training, I'm throwing bullpen to keep my routine, building my routine because I'm good. I can pitch early in the spin training if I want to, but I just like to throw live VP until I feel like okay, I'm good. I'm ready to go. And when I start pitching the games in spin training, it's because I'm 100% ready.
Well, let's go back to the slider now because I got the grip. Are you manipulating it at all at the end? Or are you really thinking about just throwing it like a fastball?
No, I don't manipulate it. I'm thinking throw it like a fastball. I throw it like this. So I throw my fastball like this and throw the slider, and I did the same. And I
Your
put
thumb's a
this.
little more off to the side on your slider, though. Is that right?
Maybe I do this a little bit,
Yeah.
but I don't feel it. So I do this with the fastball a little bit too, but I don't feel it. So I just thinking when I'm throwing, I grip the ball like really, really, really tight. In this, I like to put my fingers right here. I Jacob deGrom throw the slider right here. So I learned that from him, but I feel more better throwing my slider right here. I got more command of the pitch right here. So I like to grip it hard and throw it like a fastball.
Gotcha. So you've compared, have you ever tried to take his grip and throw with it at all and said, yeah, that's not for me?
No, it's not for me. I tried one time. I feel the ball came off my hand really quick. Came off. So having my finger in the seam, it helped me a lot.
Did you ever ask Mariano for his cutter grip?
No, I didn't ask because I think that's what's so unique from him. Like Kenley Jensen too. I think that's unique from him too. And maybe when I get older, I maybe lose some velo, and I gotta start maybe thinking throwing changeup or throwing a quarter or something. But as now, I'm okay. I'm good. I feel good about my two pitches.
I mean, I think until hitters actually catch up with your pitches, it's probably the right thing, right? There's no reason to add anything when
Yeah,
you've
there's
been
no
essentially.
reason. So
Yeah.
I try to perfect both pitches every single year because the hitter knows me. I know the hitter, but at the same time they got everything. They got the iPad in the dugout, so they can see what is my what I throw much. So this year I was throwing like maybe 54, 55% slider. And they know that, but at the same time I was commanding that slider really good. So it was tough to catch up. And when I was throwing the fastball was coming like high 90s and was tough to hit too. So they got a little bit more advantage in scouting report because right before when they step on the box, they can see the last video, the last info. I can see that info when I'm pitching. So if I'm facing three guys, the third guy can keep watching me pitching and he can take something about that.
Did you learn anything for? So this is another thing. Like deGrom basically is a 2-pitch pitcher. Throwing a curveball, flipping a curveball every once in a while, flipping a changeup, especially at the end of the year. But mostly a fastball slider guy, and he pitches deep into games, and hitters can't do anything with it. Does that give you extra confidence that hey, 2 pitches is enough in this league if you can command them perfectly?
Yeah, I think it's tough when he's pitch. It's tough. I think he's tough to pitch for me, not for the other hitters, other pitchers, because I'm. Sometimes they was telling me, "Hey, you are Jacob deGrom 2.0 because you guys are throwing the same pad. That you guys do almost the same thing when you are pitching." But the other guys, when he come, like he's throwing 6, 7 innings, 100, 101, 93, 94 slider, and the hitter get used to that. And when other pitchers come, the pitcher coming, this guy will see my fastball 94, 95, and it might hit me better than the ground. But I think as a the ground is when you pitch back behind the ground, it's a little bit tough.
Yeah, right. I guess because they've been seeing somewhat of a similar pitcher, and then you're coming in after that, and they're like, obviously, the more times the hitter sees something, the better off they're going to do.
Yeah, it's like I was thinking like in the postseason when we played San Diego, I came after deGrom that game. Was almost the same path. Like he threw 6 innings, the 193 slider, and came after him throwing the same thing. So they see Jacob deGrom 8 innings, not one. So and I like to I learn a lot about him. I'm trying to be like him because he's one of the best pitchers in the league. And if I can do what he do in 7 innings, in 1 inning, I'm really in a good point at the moment.
Do you ever feel sorry for hitters when they have to face both you and him in a game? Like, that's not really fair.
No, I don't feel sorry about them because when they hit a homer against us, they celebrate and they they like that. Sometimes when I give a homer, they celebrate like because no many hitter can hit a homer against him or me. So they feel proud, and I feel proud when I get those guy outs too.
Yeah. So what is your reaction when a hitter bat flips or does anything? Do you ever take that personally, or is it more, hey, I'm going to celebrate when I do something good. They can celebrate when they do something good. That's the game.
Yeah, I think that I'm a guy like that. Like that's part of the game. But if they will flip me about or they will do something, they gotta know I got the ball and I will strike him out. And I can do whatever I want to when I strike him out. I can yell to him. I can throw my glove in there if I want to, because he celebrate when he hit me the homer. So if someone pin me a homer or I don't care. I might laugh after the game because that was nice. But when I'm striking out that guy again, I can do whatever I want and he can get mad on me because he celebrate and I can celebrate. We can do the same thing both.
Is that fun though? Like, to me, part of the game and part of today's game that I like better is people were brought up, don't show emotion, act like you've been there before. But to bring fans in the game, if you're closing out a game or someone hits a home run and celebrates, I think it gets fans more into the game. Just like you bring energy into the stadium. Your song, the way you approach it, your attitude, you just seem like a guy that's having fun, that has electric stuff out there. Do you feel like that's a good change for the game to have that emotion in the game?
Yeah, I think everybody can show their emotions because it's tough to hit a homer in the ninth inning to win a game. It's tough to get maybe a double play, triple play in the last inning of the game. And if you win a game, like you maybe count as a clinch the playoff spot, a do or something, a big game, like we win like 2 or 3 games, losing by 5, 6 runs in the ninth, coming from behind, and we celebrate that because it's tough to do. So when you as a player do something like that, you should be able to celebrate those wins because they are so tough.
What do you think is the next? Is there another level that you can take your game to? Like this year was about as perfect a year, but obviously you're a competitor. You don't ever want to rest on your stats and last year because there's another year that comes up. What makes you a better pitcher than you are?
I think the command wise, I was able to throw strike one like almost 70% or 70+% of the time. So I was taking advantage of the hitter. So right from the get-go, I was throwing strike one. So the hitter is in trouble at that time because I got 2 more pitches to take him out or strike him out, and they are, oh, I'm in trouble. He got strike one, and I gotta swing the next pitch. I gotta do this to don't strike me out, or don't. I wanna get on base. So I don't trying to take my game to another level. I just trying to repeat the good things I'm doing every single day.
Have you ever? So we mentioned, you've had a change up before. You don't really throw it. Um, I assume that these are things, again, when you're older, maybe, the back end of a career, that might be something that comes back as the changeup. Or do you really feel comfortable? Do you even like throwing a changeup? Is that not kind of your thing?
I was trying to throw a changeup, but I was throwing my changeup 94, 95. So that's not really a changeup. So I was practicing a couple years ago to maybe throw a changeup like one time, maybe in 1AB or something when I need it. But every time when I was trying practice, my changeup was 93, 94, 95. So I say I can throw this pitch. So let's keep getting better in the fastball slider path.
You can always call up your friend Pedro. I mean, he had a pretty good changeup.
Yeah, he got a pretty good changeup, but he got the difference of the miles. I don't know why I'm throwing the changeup like really, really hard.
Well, I think some people are really good at pronating, so they can throw, twist their hand that way.
Yeah.
He's one of them. Like he would put the changeup way over into his weaker fingers and then pronate it. But some pitchers just aren't comfortable going with their hand that way. They're more comfortable going the other way with it. And if you have a really good slider, a lot of times a good changeup doesn't, it's just harder. It's a harder thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm not good throwing the changeup because I'm coming this way with the fastball, this way with the slider, and come this way with the changeup. Made that pitch a little bit harder to me to throw. Maybe I can practice split, come like the safe path. But as of right now, I like what I'm doing. I like my fastball slider, so I'm thinking that right now. Maybe at the end of my career, maybe from now 7 years, I might be be throwing fastball slider and split, or fastball slider curve, or fastball slider like another pitch.
Well, I think Max had tried to convince Jake to flip in some curveballs early in the count, stuff like that, just to mess with hitters because they're not going to look for it and they're always going to take it, which is interesting. Like, that's a guy who also doesn't need to add another pitch, but he's always, y'all are always trying to get better. That's just the mentality.
Yeah, the mentality as a pitcher, you gotta get better. Every year you gotta get better. But I think those guys like Max and Jacob, they are in top of the game. So I think they are just trying to be consistent every single time. Consistency. I think that's one of the things as when you are in the top of your game, you gotta keep building that consistency to be every 5 days, do a great job helping your team to win as a reliever every single day when they give you the ball. Have that consistency to do your job.
How much of it is there any competitiveness on your staff? Like you want to be, I know, like I talk to some pitchers. Sometimes they want to win the velo record. They want to have throw the fastest pitch at anybody in the bullpen. Other guys, is there competitiveness among you guys to try to win something or be the best, or hey, I want to outdo the guy that came in before me?
No, I think in our bullpen we don't think about that. We just root for each other. So we was a really good group last year. Like everybody push to each other to be better every single time. And for me, for our guys, we never talk about that. I want to throw harder than Diaz. I don't want to throw better curve than Lugo. I don't want to throw the change of Trevor may throw. We just push each other to be good and to win games. So I think we never compete against each other. We was trying to push the guy after he was walking from the bullpen to the mound. Hey, to push him like, let's go, let's do the job and try to win the game. If I was like maybe Lugo was closing that night or Ottavino, I was in the bullpen maybe because I was at a day off. I was trying to push them to help them like with my hey, let's go, let's do this and let's win the game, because I can be like jealous to see that guy closing the game because he helping the team to win.
That's another guy I forgot even to mention is Ottavino's slider is crazy. Like his
Yeah,
movement, he gets.
it's really good. It's nasty, and he knows a lot about pitching. So he talk a lot about in the bullpen about pitching. Like he's a big guy from like the spin rate, the heat map, and he knows a lot. Every time when I don't know something, I ask him, and he got the answer.
Do you ever use the high speed cameras, other stuff to say, hey, maybe the fastball's not coming off my fingers right, or you're just a feel guy and you just know from doing it?
I think I know what I'm doing. I can see my pitch, how it react, my fastball. If I know I threw a fastball, like the catcher is waiting the ball right here and finish right here, I know I'm missing like side to side. But if he's waiting the ball right here and he finish right here, or right here, I know the ball got the right I'm looking for. So every time when I saw the catcher like cutting the ball like this, the fastball, even the slider, I know I'm doing something wrong.
Do you also read swings of hitters, or can you tell where the hitter's standing, read the swing of a hitter, and know what he's trying to do against you, or are you just attacking?
Yeah, I learned that too a little bit. I can see the guys like a guy who stepped in the back of the box, stepping up front with me against me because it's looking to hit this maybe the slider up front, the fastball up front. So that's why I like in that situation I like to come in against them because they can react the same way when they are in the back of the box. So I like to see where they stand up every time to see how I can pitch them too.
How important is velocity to you? And where do you rank that, command and velocity? Obviously, you already have velocity and you have command. Um, can you even rank them? They go together, like you have to have both to be successful. What is your thought on that?
I think Velo doesn't care much, but now people care more about Velo because everybody in the bullpen throw at least 95 plus. I think to you to be in like being in a good role in the bullpen, you gotta throw hard. That's how the game is going. But I prefer have the command better than the pitch.
Gotcha. Is there any advice that you would give young people watching? Like, what was a big thing that you would tell young people to make a young pitcher that is coming up? What's going to make them successful? What's going to help them be successful?
I say every time, like pitching wise, you gotta have command of your fastball first of all, because if you don't command your fastball, you don't go anywhere because all your pitches coming off your fastball. So you gotta command your fastball really good, and then if you got add 1, 2, 3 more pitches, you gotta have a good command. Not about like the same command of the fastball, but have a good command to throw to show the hitter you can throw it for strike or you can throw it into chase. And I think that's the best advice you can give to a young pitcher. Like have a good command, good fastball command, and then you can do whatever you want with the other pitches.
Obviously, you're in Puerto Rico right now. If you were to walk to a restaurant and hang out, how many people would like do you get inundated with people coming up to you asking for autographs and going, "It's Edwin Diaz"? Oh my God, that's
Yeah, because we are in a small country, and like baseball is big time here in Puerto Rico. Like everybody watch baseball, basketball, and boxing, like I said, and everybody knows each other. Like fans know each player and they know everything. So when in a restaurant, sometimes they come to me ask me for a picture, or sometimes they just say, "Hi, hey, Edwin, how you doing?" Sometimes they wait for me finish to take a picture. So people here, like, they protect us, they like us, and they appreciate what are we doing in our game. So because we represent Puerto Rico and we represent our country, and they love that.
how important is that for you? Like, I think that's really cool to have a whole country behind you wanting you to succeed. Do you feel that? Do you feel the pride in going out there and saying, you know what, I made it. I've gotten to the big leagues. I'm that guy. And maybe you owe something extra to the others to help bring other pitchers through from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I think I feel proud to see all the people support me, like in social media. They go to our games because New York Mets got a lot of fans from here, from Puerto Rico, and take a flight from here to New York is not that far. And a lot of people go there to see us. Even in Miami, when we play in Miami, every time a lot of Puerto Rican fly there to see us. And I feel proud because they go there to support us. And now like the WBC is coming, I will play for Puerto Rico because I feel like I got a chance to have the Puerto Rico name in front of my jersey, and I wanna try to win for them because they deserve that, because they support us, and we got the chance to play for them, and that that made that tournament so special for that.
Yeah, and that's got to be a huge deal. I mean, you're representing a team from your country against other countries. Like, I think is that some there? It's not bigger than the MLB season, but it's big as the MLB. Like, that would be a different type of win. If Puerto Rico wins the championship, that would be on the highlight, on the biggest things you can accomplish.
Yeah, I participated in the WBC in 2017, and we won second place, and was a big deal for us because coming from a small country, like other country, we think got better team than us, like DR, like Japan, like USA, other country. We think they got better team than us because they got more players than us in the big league, like Venezuela, Mexico. But at the same time, we are from Puerto Rico. We got like maybe 20, 25 players in the big league, and we get together and we compete and we can win. Like, we can win all if we want. If we do our team really good, I think Team Puerto Rico can win all because we are really good. Like every single player in any position, like, is good. Like, let's say we got three shortstop: Lindor, Baez, and Correa. Like, we got three really good ones, and they split. Like, so Baez go to second base, Correa go to third base, and Lindor go to shortstop. And we got three premium players, and that's helped our team to, because they don't thinking it then, they thinking about the country.
Did you know each other at all before you got to the big leagues? Did you know those
Yeah, I
guys too?
know. I played with Correa in the same team before sign. We play in the same team. Like, was crazy watching him play because all 30 teams was there every single time. So I think that's helped me a lot too, because I was pitching when he was playing, and all the scout came to see him. So I take advantage of that. That helped me to show my ability to the teams too.
Yeah, absolutely. That had to be and watching those guys, I mean, all those guys are so talented. That's so much fun to it also lets your dream, your dream can come true, right? You're playing with guys that are that good and you know what it takes to get them out. You can see the scouts out there and you want to take advantage of them looking at you.
Yeah, that I wanna, was looking to see, so to show the scout what I'm doing. I was throwing 93, 94 at that moment when the draft was coming 2012. So me and Jose Berrios was one of the two best pitchers of the country that year. So we both was pitching against each other every single time when all the scout was coming.
And he's really, really good too. That guy's nasty when he's
Yeah,
on.
it's really nasty. It's really good.
Yeah. Well, all right. So hardest pitch, if you were going to throw as hard as you could, how fast do you think you could throw it?
I think 103 is the most.
Okay, so 103 is the most we're going to expect out of you. You're not going to do a Yuan Duran 104.
No, I don't think I can reach that. Maybe because every year I get stronger. Well, I stay in 100. I take 100. So if I can throw 100 every single time, take it. I don't want to throw harder than that.
Well, this has been great. Is there any questions you have? Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I think that was great for both, and was a great interview. I like a lot.
Awesome. Well, dude, it's so much fun watching you play. You're one of the good guys, and I think everyone can tell. It's basically everybody feeds off your energy, and I'm glad they got to see a little bit more of you today. So thank you for doing the interview, and I wish you nothing but huge success, no matter who you play, even played with.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, and thank you for the opportunity.